President Donald Trump says he is taking action to end legal immigration status for some Somalis in Minnesota. In a social media post tonight, the president says he is ending temporary protected status effective immediately. The post on Truth Social says Minnesota, under Governor Walz, is a hub of fraudulent money laundering activity and billions of dollars are missing. Temporary protected status is granted to foreign countries who meet requirements for things like ongoing wars and natural disasters that prevent citizens from returning home safely. The current protected status for the country of Somalia extends through March of next year. As of March of this year, 705 Somali nationals were covered by TPS in the entire country, according to U.S. Citizen and Immigration Services data. A 2023 fact sheet from the Immigrant Law Center said about 430 Somalis in Minnesota fall under that protection. The Council on American Islamic Relations says this change will cause some families to be separated in some cases.
There are families who are currently having their children grow up in the United States as full citizens, as born in the United States, but their parents may be holding a TPS status. That means that we'll be breaking families who have been here legally.
Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar, the first Somali American member of Congress, said tonight, "I am a citizen and so are a majority of Somalis in America. Good luck celebrating a policy change that really doesn't have much impact on the Somalis you love to hate. We are here to stay."
They getting bold. They may see, the thing is though, you guys don't understand. President Trump already knows how to deal with this. He's starting off small. Somalis have taken over Minnesota and they scamming and doing so many frauds. It's ridiculous. This is why we got to get rid of birthright citizenship. Birthright citizenship was not made for people coming over to this country. It was made for African Americans. This is what they do. As more and more I do research and talk about this so I can make sure that I'm giving you the right facts, how are the Somalis or other, different types of, cultures able to take over so easily? They come over here as refugees on a TPS status or whatever, but they come over here as refugees and seek asylum. If you got problems in your country, go fix it in your country. We're tired of everybody coming over here for help and then saying they don't like America. You see the videos. You see, if there was a war breaking out between your country and America, who would you be for? You have the youth of these people saying, oh, we'll still look out for our country. They not loyal. If you ain't loyal, why are you here? They're using our resources. They're using everything that they can because they are refugees or asylum seekers. And then they say, forget America. And then next you know, Americans are the minority in America. What sense does that make? Why are they here? There's so much fraud in Minnesota, it's ridiculous. But then you have people like this Ilhan Omar. She's feeling like, oh, you can't touch us. This is why we got to get rid of birthright citizenship. Once we get rid of birthright citizenship, there's no more of this, I bring my kids over here, I'm a refugee or a legal immigrant, I have my kids here, and now they are American citizens. Your kids shouldn't be American citizens. American citizens should come from American citizens. And then this is what happened. When the kids become American citizens, now they are able to get SNAP, free housing, health care, and all these things like that. This is why we have to wake up Americans. I have no problem with different cultures. I lived in Europe, but I just know that when I lived in Europe and I lived in Africa, I lived in Asia, I couldn't get the same benefits that these people got, that they're getting here in America. So what does that say? What does that say to you? Is it fair for them to get everything here more than Americans, but when I go to their country, I get nothing? If you got a war in your city, if you're running from your country, figure it out. What it is everybody thinks that America's supposed to save them. And then they start to get to a point where they get on the platform and now they know they outnumbering people, taking over cities. Now they're going to try to take over states. Look at Dearborn. Look what they're trying to do in Texas. They come over here illegally or asylum seekers, have kids, multiple kids, and then they take over. Let me just tell you about some of the fraud that they have in Minnesota. Doing research on the Somali culture. I'm not saying all Somalis are bad, but you have a lot of them down there that's just getting rich and stealing money. You have the Feeding Our Future, the nonprofit children nutrition fraud. They frauded over $250 million. Why are they getting money for Feeding the Future when they can't take care of their damn selves and they came over here to seek refuge and asylum? I feel like when you are from a different country, you should not be able to access these funds. You should not be able to get these things. You should come here and be a part of the community, and you shouldn't be able to do anything for 3 generations. Feeding our futures is a huge one. Huge one. $250 million has been fraud. But the thing is, though, you have your governor of Minnesota not doing anything. There's no oversight. There's no, here's the money, just take the money and walk off. So what does that mean? Is the governor in it? Is he in on it? Is he just giving them money and say, I understand, just continue to vote for me and keep me in office? That's why we gotta really look into these politicians, man, just because they may be American, but they care about that dollar. They care about being in office. You see what I'm saying? Another one, there was a case in Minnesota where defendant Asha Farha Hassan was 28, federally charged with wire fraud in relation to $14 million scheme tied to autism therapy services. Come on, man. They getting this money through the state, which gets it from the federal government, which gets it from taxpaying citizens like you and me. We have to change this rule of birthright citizenship, because this is why they come over here and they're able to outbreed us. The weapon of all these cultures that's coming over here is their ability to outbreed Americans. See, if you ever think about it, you don't see these Somalians or you don't see these Muslims talking about, oh, you can be a transgender woman. You don't see them really pushing gay weddings. You don't see them pushing if your son think he's a girl, then be a girl. They not pushing this stuff. They having Americans push this stuff because they know you have that attitude. You're not gonna have kids, and we will have kids, and then we will rule. But you don't see the Somalians really pushing female independence. You don't see the Muslims pushing female independence. Why? Because they know if a female is feeling like she independent, then she ain't gonna have no kids. They don't push that. Let me know when you see a Muslim ad saying that about women. Let me know when you see a Muslim ad talking about transgender and gays, and it's okay to be one. They get into the Democrat Party and push that so you can have less and they can have more, and then they will take over. We have to wake up as Americans, man. I'm telling you, it's a war. And they playing the game, and they playing it so well, and they doing it so well to where you don't even notice until President Trump says something about it. You have people like her, oh, it was not really going to do much, but it's getting attention to Minnesota because we need to have attention and say, look what they doing. Look what they doing. They've taken money. They're giving it back to their own people. They sending it back home to terrorist groups, allegedly. We got to wake up as Americans, man. We got people like her, Ilhan Omar. She's in the House of Congress, taunting the president, because there's nothing we can do because these kids that they have are American citizens. You know, when I was trying to I had my kid in my wife and I, we lived in France. My wife was president, so we were just like, hey, we're just gonna chill in France. My kid gonna get a dual citizenship. Cool. France was like, yeah, that it don't work like that. We like, what do you mean? Oh, you got to be here for 10, 11 years. You got to know the language, and we'll think about it. It's not even a guarantee. Your kid got to be in school. You got to pay more taxes, blah, 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 before you can be a citizen and get the rights to everything that we have here. Why doesn't America do that? Why don't we just say, you know what? You want to come over here, be a refugee, asylum, or whatever. You still don't get no benefits. You got to work. You got to have a job. They coming over here seeking a better life, but they really not getting a better life. They just getting the money, keeping it in their own circles and growing themselves. They're not contributing to society. Then they make the people there, they push the people out and make them feel like the minority. It's a play that you got to understand, man. But when you really think about it, man, I have no problem with Muslims, but the extremist Muslims, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. The plan is crazy. 100-year plan. Look it up. But I'm saying to Americans, you gotta look at this and say, okay, have I seen a Muslim push gay weddings? Have I seen Muslims pushing it's okay to be transgender? Do I see Muslims pushing, oh, be a bad bitch, be an independent woman? No. They don't push that. They push it for us. They want Americans to be like that, not them. Because they know there's strength in numbers. So as Americans, you got to wake up. You got to understand the play. You got to understand the war. They're not using war. Their war is not, it's not about guns. It's about creating kids. It's about outpopulating, using funds that's not for you, but they take it and use it for themselves, and then they fraud it and they keep the money and they give it back to their countries. I'm starting to think that a lot of these countries are being bad on purpose so they can send their people over here to try to take over America. We have to stop the asylum seekers and the refugees. You got problems going in your country, the best thing you should do is go back to your country and fight for your country. These people, there's people here that's so involved with their country. Then why are you here? Go back to your country. Oh, no, it's bad over there. Go back over there. We need to start telling people that if you want to be loyal to your country, be loyal to your country and go back. But they don't want to, because America, we give them everything that they want. All they got to say is, I'm seeking refugees. I'm seeking asylum. I'm a refugee from my country. Let's be smart, because that's money that needs to go to us, Americans that really need it. We don't need to give our money to asylum seekers. I read a report. It was I forgot what report it was. It was from 2000 and I think it's a 15-year report. So they haven't came out with a new one since 2020 or 2021. Basically, they said and from 2005 to 2020, America has spent $457 billion on refugees and asylum seekers. That tells you right there what we doing wrong. So they getting $457 billion in that, say, that 15-year span. They getting this money. It's propping them up while we're going down. Well, we put $457 billion into our school systems. Well, we put $457 million into our kids. But no, we put it into these refugees that's not from here. I'm sorry. I'm not a hater, but what's the difference between me being American than a refugee being in America? They get more benefits than me while I'm working and grinding and trying to build something for my family. That's not right. Because why I know it's not right is because when I go to their country, I don't get that same treatment. So we got to wake up as Americans, and this is not a racist thing. This is more of an economic thing, but a patriotic thing. There's no way in life where a refugee should have more benefits than an American. This is why I like to talk to people and say, what is it like to be American? How are we getting ahead than people that's coming here? And how are they getting ahead more than us? It's because they come here and they get all these benefits. They get all these things that we can't get because we're not refugees or asylum seekers, but we get taxed more. We got to wake up as Americans. We got to put pressure on our politicians, because what they're doing is they're getting money from the federal government and giving it to these groups. And that's not fair. And then now you become the minority. I'm in Los Angeles. Okay. Heavy Latino culture. Nothing wrong with the Latinos, but have they gotten some help when they gotten over here? Sure. And then when they get help, they stick together. That pushes out who? The white people and the black people. It's simple economics. Of course, when I come over here from a different country, I'm going to look out for my people and find my people, and then we going to grow. And if I get money for the government, I'm going to keep it within my people. So if I'm getting money for the government, all they got to do is, okay, you go open up a store, so we all go to your store, and you make sure you can get the EBT funds, and we'll just continue to give you the money. Now you'll grow. And then we'll build a church, and then that church would be a nonprofit, and they'll get money from the state. This is how they do it. But we got to wake up. But you could tell they don't feel like they're going to be touched. A lot of people need to look into CAIR, CAIR. That's a nonprofit. Where are their money coming from? Who are they putting their money? Who are they giving money to in these politicians' pockets? It's all a big circle. But I like what President Trump is doing. He's starting small. But him starting small is to get the attention into Minnesota for everybody like me to be able to talk about this and say, this is what's happening. So it's up to you to understand and say, yeah, that's not right. Dearborn, Michigan is another one too. Taking over. They got the mayor, they got the chief of police, they got the fire department, they got the police, they got the council members, all Muslim, telling Christians that they don't want them to be there. I don't mind Muslims, man. I don't mind different cultures, but when you act like your culture is better than mine, and you trying to extinguish my culture, and you trying to extinguish everybody from being there, and just say this is basically Sharia law. If you're not a Muslim, get up out of here. In America, that's a problem. I understand if we in your country, rules is rules, but you in America, bro. So this is when we got to start to, start stepping up and start being American, start being a patriot. Because if we don't, we gonna we ain't gonna be it's not gonna be America in the next 10 to 20 years. We got to start stepping up. We got to get rid of birthright citizenship. We got to stop giving people these funds because they refugees and asylum seekers. JD Vance said it the best. I'm here to take care of America, not the world. If the world needs to see what the people need to do, if you got problems in your country, take care of your country. Just like how we take care of our country, we vote people out, we got democracy. Y'all need to do that in y'all country. Build your country. You guys are coming here, but then when you come here, you get everything. That's why I believe that you shouldn't get benefits for generations. That's why everybody was against the big beautiful bill, because it had changes in there. Asylees, refugees, these people can't get SNAP benefits anymore because that's how they were getting around it. It wasn't illegal immigrants; it was the refugees and asylum seekers. Yeah, you shouldn't be able to get that. You should be coming here for asylum to be able to live your life, but work. You shouldn't be getting free benefits. The people that should be getting free benefits first is Americans, not people that came from a whole ass different country. I'm sorry. I'm not being an asshole. I'm not being a jack. I'm just being real. I know I'm ranting, I'm going, but I'm expressing my understanding and see that look, man, if you're not smart enough, you don't see what's going on, we'll be taking over. Then those people will be put into power. Those people will be senators, maybe a president. Now what's gonna happen? Who you think they're gonna look out for? So we gotta wake up as Americans. Wake up as Americans, because if we don't, we'll be taken over. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your support, and you already know we're gonna keep this thing rocking.